Underwriting support for this program is provided by the Eureka Teachers Association's School Board Liaison, Philip Middlemiss. Thank you. Where can you find gourmet organic coffees, a friendly hometown atmosphere, and beautiful views of Humboldt Bay and beyond? It's Has Beans Cafe, open every day at 2nd and I Street in the heart of Old Town Eureka.
Reconvene us into open session and ask Board Clerk John Fullerton to report out from closed session.
On item B2, that was not discussed. Item 3, no action to report. Item D4, no action taken. Item D5, no action to report.
Okay. Now we're going to move down to the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and tonight we have guests from Eureka High School with us. And is the principal, no, you're just...
They're ready to go.
Okay, take it away.
Please stand, put your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, we're representatives from Eureka High School Avid, and I'm Yamani. I've been an Avideer for 2 years.
I'm Caitlin. I've been an Avid for about 3 years.
I'm Kwa, and I've been an Avid for 2 years.
I'm Maria, and I've been for Avid for also 2 years.
And Avid is advancement via individual determination. It helps expand our horizons and educational skills. We're all college bound, and during our senior year we focus a lot on college applications and the requirements to get into college. And all 4 years we work on the educational skills and how to progress and achieve our goals.
Avid is for people who succeed and advance through their own determination. It's for adolescents majorly from lower income households where there's nobody above them, like their parents or grandparents that haven't been to college, so they're first year college students. And they're usually part of a minority.
Through Avid, we had gotten the opportunity to visit many colleges. Last year, we had visited Holy Names, Simona State, and UC Berkeley. And this year, we visited Fresno State, Sacramento State, and UC Merced. This was a really great opportunity because many of the students in Avid would not have the ability to go visit these colleges, so it gave us a view of the campus life.
And as Caitlin mentioned earlier, our senior year we mainly focus on college applications, scholarships, and working on FAFSA to get our financial aid for college. And many of us applied for the CalSO, North Coast CalSO, and a lot of us got it through the help of our teachers and peers. We helped each other out to get through our process of going to college. And every week in Avid we have a schedule to help us prepare for college. Every Tuesday and Thursday we will have what is called tutorials, where we have college tutors come from either CR or HSU, and they come and specialize in like math. So we have Algebra 2 tutors or English, so we'll have writing memoirs tutors, and they come and they help us every Tuesday and Thursday with any questions we may have in the class. And Monday and Wednesday, we have free day, like freelance days, where the teacher will come up with an assignment for us. Like this week, we're working on an essay to help prepare the freshmen, Avideers that are going into sophomore year, and just to tell them a little bit of our process, how we've been through Avid through the past years as seniors. And Friday, we have what is called a binder check, and we have to have 10 pages of Cornell notes, and to show you what
The-
corner notes are.
The format of the corner note is like 1/3 of like the topic and 2/3 of the notes. And out down at the bottom, we have a summary of the overall notes that we took.
And then with the 10 pages of corner notes, we also have to be organized. Our binder, if you pick it up, no papers can fall out. You have to be organized. And also, we have planner, daily planner. And you get points on how many, like if you filled it out for the whole week, you get 100%. Sometimes we may miss a day or miss a class, and points taken off for that. And that's it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Great job.
And you are all welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but we will also understand if you choose to leave early and because of other activities. Okay. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, there is. At this time, we need to pull item K20 from the consent agenda.
Now we'll move to information, student representatives report.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Gutz, and I'm the school board representative for Eureka FFA. In the past month, we have attended the Fresno Judging Team Contest, where Floral placed 10th, Weeds placed 8th, which that was their state finals, Dairy Products placed 11th, and we had one horse competitor, and she did a great job. 12 members stayed in Fresno for state conference, where they learned many leadership skills while having fun at the same time with motivational speakers and state officers. We also had our annual Easter egg hunt, where we put on a hunt for elementary and preschool kids. In the next few weeks, our judging teams are going to San Luis Obispo for their state finals. We are also having our last tri-tip lunch, which I have ordered forms if you would like them. And we also have our sectional project competition, where 9 kids from our chapter will present their agriculture project to 4 judges and will receive either silver or gold awards at a dinner that is put together by the Farm Bureau. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next month. And then I have a little thank you card from one of the Easter egg hunt kids. They said thank you for the hunt, FFA, love Wanda. And they're really good with 3D things.
I need one of those order forms.
Okay, is there any other questions?
And don't you have your, is it called the FFA Fair, the fair on May 24th? Did I get an email about that?
Oh, yeah, our school fair.
The school fair.
Yeah, we're currently in the process of making that happen right now, but we have a lot of cool activities planned. We have an archery booth and talking about natural resources and our creek that's behind our place. And then we have, we're gonna have pigs, goats, lambs, steers. I think we're having dairy cows and bunnies. So kids from all over the place are gonna come and look at our exhibits that we have.
So it's 24th?
Yes.
It's the 24th, and I think we got an email, but you guys are awfully good about sending us additional ones.
And we
so.
send out our Monday memos to you
Yeah.
guys too. Oh, and then also, I know I talked about this last time I was here, we had our Booster Club, they had a fundraiser at Cherry Heights. It was a great success. They made around $26,000, and it was really good.
Great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I have these for you.
Thank you.
I don't think you want the 10 next week. You have a freshman left. That's great. And Shelby was the one sports competitor.
Thank you, Chelsea. Are there any other student representatives? No? Okay. Superintendent's report.
Unfortunately, the first part of my report is bad news. We have had an incredible amount of vandalism here at the district office over the last month. We have replaced 6 of our very large windows, like that one right there, which is one of the ones that were replaced in the past month, and we now have 4 more windows that need to be replaced. In an effort to combat this, we have cameras that are now installed on the back side of the building that feed into our server down in the at the tech yard. Hopefully, this will put an end to, and we're also going to put signage up that says these areas are under video surveillance 24 hours a day. But rather disappointing to walk in on a continuous basis and spend the first part of your day cleaning glass out of your office. One of the other pieces that moved it up, especially where insurance is, the larger windows are about $85 a piece. The smaller windows are about $60 a piece. But unfortunately, one of the, I'm assuming, young men that are vandalizing our office, one of the rocks that they threw also hit a computer screen in my office and shattered it. So hopefully we will be putting an end to this. The second piece is in regarding our traumatic brain injury program. We are currently on hold with our traumatic brain injury program. We're not offering it right now. The employee that runs that program for us is currently out on a leave. It's a medical leave. She's not expected back until at least mid-May at the earliest. This is not a program where we can bring somebody in as a substitute teacher and effectively run the program without assuming a pretty large liability on our part for the effective running of the program. However, Leanne is working with our employee, and what we're trying to do is use this time to improve the program and improve upon the cognitive skills that we offer, the psychosocial skills that we offer, as well as the functional independent living skills. We're also looking at how do you exit the TBI program so that it's not a lifelong sentence in TBI. We're looking at when do people reach their plateau or when do they reach a threshold where it's time to start transitioning them to other programs. And we're going to try to kind of nail that down a little bit more and have more of a procedural, we're an educational facility, therefore we're looking to educate students and move them through our program to a point where they can then transition into another program and not have TBI where people remain for years and years. Unfortunately, like I said, the program is currently not operational. There are places that the traumatic brain injury individuals can go to during this time. However, board members like the superintendent and assistant superintendents may receive complaints from parents and or other family members in the next couple of weeks as their disappointment mounts. And of course, they'd like to see us put a substitute in or something like that to keep the program running, but it really isn't a viable alternative.
So when you say mid-May, you're talking another week and a half?
Mid-May at best. I really don't believe that the employee is going to safely be able to return at mid-May. Unfortunately, in that job, and especially where that job goes, there are some repetitive movements and also some movements that involve large amounts of weight, as in moving an individual from one area to another or restraining an individual. That really requires the employee to come back at 100%, otherwise we're going to lose the employee again very quickly, so we have to be very careful about the employee coming back. We may actually, John, end up pushing all the way into the summer when we always shut the program down for the month anyway of June, so we may run into that time.
So the program is usually not running 1 month?
Yeah.
But the other months it is?
Because again, we have an employee who has a contractual year that comes up and she is not a 12-month employee.
And how many students are in that class? 17.
Thank you, Leanne. Cabinet and actually thank you to board members attended the DSLT District Site Liaison Team follow-up meeting at Zane on Monday of this week. I'm pleased to report that Zane is making an incredible amount of progress in regards to meeting the essential program components as defined by the State Board of Education. As we walked through the classes, and we did that the week before, we went predominantly to language arts and mathematics classes. As we walked through, we saw strong proof of them using State Board of Education adopted materials. We saw goal statements or what the standard that the teacher was teaching to on the board in the majority of the classrooms. We saw proof that the teachers as a whole in departments are utilizing a pacing guide and are on the same area of lesson and therefore moving through and presenting standards-based lessons in a really efficient manner. They are starting to utilize the benchmark assessments that we've been putting in place. All in all, as you look at the 9 essential components, the Zane Middle School is moving forward in a really positive manner. Some of the things that we talked about are more of the fine tuning and the attaboy for the teachers, but keep it up because there's still work to do. We also talked about the interface between Data Director and Power School and how we can better meet the needs of the teachers as they look for assessment information and data so that they can drive their decisions. So we will continue to work and move forward on those things, but all in all, just a quality report and the efforts that especially language and mathematics are making in Zane. And I don't want to downplay the other departments. I know the science department has put in a lot of time and effort. I know actually a majority of them have. It's just that when we go in, because of the essential program components, we are looking primarily at language arts and mathematics, but all of the departments are looking to continue that work. I want to report out on summer school. We will once again be offering a secondary credit recovery program, as I outlined in the last board meeting, for both middle school and high school. However, the Jumpstart programs that we semi-advertise and put out there, we are going to be able to offer a Jumpstart kindergarten program at every elementary school, and we'll be getting that information out. We're looking at primarily addressing our EL students and or students who we consider at risk because they have not attended any type of school, trying to get them with some primary literacy skills, but also just the function of what a school is, what we do, and what the expectations for students are so they walk in on the first day of school a little bit more comfortable. We're also going to be able to, it looks like at 3 of the schools, probably Alice Burney and Grant for sure, and potentially Washington, offer an enrichment jumpstart for upper grades, primarily 4th and 5th grade students who are identified by California standardized tests as needing some assistance because they're far below basic or below basic. All of these are voluntary on parents' part, but we'll continue to get the information out and hopefully fill up those classes. Just a reminder that the determination was made by all of administration that the best way to offer these programs is if it were our teachers teaching our curriculum in their classrooms. We greatly appreciate the individuals who normally don't work for Eureka City Schools but come to help us with summer schools at the secondary level, but we really felt like the bang for our buck would be delivered at the elementary school level if it were those people. So that's why it's kind of scattered as to where we're going to be able to offer it in what grade levels, but we're happy to be able to do it, so we will continue to keep you informed. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., the California Department of Education will be releasing the 2010 Base Academics Performance Index, our API. This is like the fine-tuning of the information that has been out before. And there's actually some very good news for Eureka City Schools. Grant Elementary School will be going up 3 notches from a 3 to a 6 on the similar schools ranking. It's a ranking from 1 to 10. They were previously put as a 3 and they will be moving up to a 6 on the similar schools ranking. Zane will be up 2 notches from a 4 to a 6 on the similar schools ranking. And Eureka High Schools will be moving up from a 5 to a 7 on the similar schools rank. But an even more impressive for Eureka High School is their overall state rank will be a 7. So all the schools continue to be moving, or not all the schools, these 3 schools specifically are moving up. We know we still have some issues with 2 program improvement schools at the elementary school. We're working hard at those, but it's good to see some of our hard work pay off. And then lastly, in the area of hard work paying off, our 10th graders at Eureka High School who are taking the high school exit exam for the first time, we have their results back, and 93% of Eureka High School students, 10th graders taking it for the first time, passed the math portion of the CASE, and that's up 88% from last year. And in language arts, we held strong with 88%. Passing the language arts section, and that's up just a little bit from the 87% we had last year. Our students continue to be way above the state average in regards to high school students taking the exit exam for the first time, so great job.
Okay, we'll move to board members' reports. Wendy?
Let me see. I want to say yesterday was National Day of the Teacher, and I want to thank all of our teachers for all their hard work. We have some awesome teachers out there. And I know that our PTAs and some of our booster clubs are actively doing neat things for teachers and staff this week and next week. But I just wanted to put in my 2 cents for thank you very much for all you do for our kids. I was at the high school and was fortunate enough to be there during a presentation for the Live Strong program, which is it's a number of students that are putting together presentations for the whole school actually. And Live Strong is about cancer awareness, reaching out to students and staff to make them more aware of cancer and how it affects people. It was a wear yellow, it's a yellow theme, and the school was full of yellow. I loved Kathy Hansel's yellow tennis shoes. That was just incredible. I can't believe she didn't win the wearing yellow contest, but yeah, she was all decked out. They did a wonderful job, and the as I understand it, that Live Strong program is a legacy service learning project where they do it year after year as each new group comes in. Kids that are interested in that particular project take it on, and it has been going on at the school now for, I want to say 6 years.
6, 7 years.
Yeah, so it's an exciting thing that they're the service learning projects that they carry forward. The kids that took it on did a really nice job, and the presentations were very well done. What else we got going? The PTA State Convention was in Long Beach this weekend, and I know that we had a number of representatives from our school that got to go down there. I am taking my year off. I get to go next year, and I know they're going to bring back some wonderful information and some wonderful energizing stuff from our PTA. And that's it.
John?
Nothing to report.
Grant?
A few things to report. I attended the DSLP meeting yesterday at Zane. It was in conjunction with the school site group, and I was very impressed with the meeting. And I went early because I wanted to spend some time in the classroom, and I intended to go to a couple of classrooms, and I went into Beth Baker's class and spent the whole hour and was extremely impressed. She has a 7th and 8th grade class at the end of the day, and these are EL students, if I'm not mistaken. And I just was
Generally strategic kids.
Yeah, I was just blown away with the interaction with the students and the way she was working with them, and the little booklet that Mr. Funkhauser is making up for the kids with all the different examples of what might be on the tests. And I thought that was wonderful. I attended the Roadie Parade. I really didn't attend it because it goes right past my mom's house, so I just got out and sat by the curb. But anyway, I was extremely impressed. We had Zane's wonderful marching band with a complete, I mean, they did a performance. They were great. They walked along and flipped up their legs, and they were very, very good. And they sounded good. Better than Humboldt steak. Also, Eureka High School's band participated, and they were excellent. Grad School was there in a huge number, a lot of grad school people. And of course, NGROTC always participates. But this was probably the best, had the most entries of any of the parades I've seen, and I think I've seen them all.
It went on forever.
Since they started, it did go on for a long time. And of course, I went to see the Clydesdales. So I was glad that I had gone. But anyway, we were well represented, our schools.
Okay, so now I'm going to welcome Hank to the board, and I don't know if you have anything you'd like to report or comment on?
Just a mention of the passing of Larry Nickel.
Yeah.
Longtime member of staff at Eureka City Schools, passed away in Guatemala. Visit the memorial and reacquainted myself with a lot of folks from Eureka City Schools. Sad time.
Okay, I have a couple things. Star testing's going on right now and through next week, is that correct? And then after next week, it's done.
There will be some makeups after that.
Okay. I went to Washington's open house, which they did theirs early, or earlier than the others, but it was great to see lots of families, lots of kids running around. It was a nice weather night, which was, with all the rain we've had, it was nice that it was. And I also visited Alice Burney. Thank you to Georgianne, because she invited me to come to their ELEO morning period. And so I got to see 3 or 4 different classes and how the kids are doing, the EL kids, and how those, is there a better way to describe them than?
What is EL?
It's an intensive EL specific curriculum being done.
It's EL Achieve, it's an approach that's
Okay.
using our existing curriculum, our English language arts curriculum. But it's, they're English learners and they're just progressing rather nicely on. Our teachers are working hard. So
And they move them, as they get to a certain level, then they move out of the EL class into an EO, an English only class. So it was great to see those kids. They were all engaged and excited. Then the last thing I have is another question. So I was asked, how difficult is it to get a name change on your address listing in Eureka City Schools on the computer? So we've got, you want to email folks, and there's an address book, and it has this very long listing of folks. And if I get married or I get divorced and I want to change my name, how hard is that to, because I'm hearing that it's hard.
All they have to do is submit to the tech department.
Okay, it's just, all right, I'll go back and mention that to, thank you.
Now we're all thinking about it. And I also mentioned, thank you for bringing up the legacy project, because I forgot one, and I actually participated in it as did Principal Jordan. After the Roadie Parade on Saturday, the MS Walk, which is a legacy project of students, took place at Eureka High School. I know that on online earnings prior to the event even taking place, they had raised over $15,000. And that's not counting the amount of money that they raised at the event itself. It was a great walk. And again, just like the Roadie Parade, it was a beautiful day to be out and about. A little windy, but and I kept an eye on Principal Jordan. He did make the entire route, so.
I did.
I'll tell you, I was really impressed with Bruce McKay because he could hardly walk. He's having a hip problem. And, he was out there walking with him, and he came over, I said, you need to stop. Or he said, I've got to make it to the end.
And he did.
So his kids did. I don't know if he made it to the end, but I bet he did.
I had heard that the Athletic Boosters event raised something like $37,000 or something like that.
Last I heard it was up around, it's close to $40,000.
If we add that, and the FFA, and the MS, there's a lot of money still being raised.
Yeah, in a time, in a fiscally difficult time for a lot of families in our area that continue to support Eureka City Schools, and then to throw in another one, I know the High School Music Boosters earlier in the year did the Dancing and Delectables, and I was able to go to that, and it was packed, and it was wonderful. So again, we have some really hardworking parents who put in a lot of time and effort, and it really shows in the things that we're able to support.
We have a very supportive and generous community.
Yes. Okay, now we will move down to public comment on non-agenda items. I don't have any green sheets. Is there anybody in the public who wants to speak to a non-agenda item? Okay. Hearing none, we will move down to the consent calendar. Any questions or concerns about anything on the consent calendar? I do. Item 18, page 23. The Eureka High School Auditorium Earthquake Repair Project. So if we go down to the money, how much this cost? Where it says total cost $309,500. So we're being reimbursed, 159,579,
A minimum of, yes.
a minimum of. So is it going to end up being a full 75% of the 309?
The paperwork that we have filed with the state includes the change orders that were necessary. They have to be signed off on, so yes, it should come up to a full 75%.
Okay, so I was wondering how are we paying for the remaining 25%?
We did it out of routine restricted maintenance, deferred maintenance.
That's not much. The
And-
25% looks better than what it looks like here.
The other thing that should be noted is that the structural part of the auditorium is complete. We still have a lot of work that's going on that we're taking on in-house. It looks fabulous inside. All the seats are currently pulled out and custodial staff is taking up the carpeting and we're gonna recarpet it. And they're refinishing the floors. And it's gonna be fabulous when it reopens, but we're really not expecting it to reopen probably until fall.
Okay, hearing no other questions or concerns, I need a motion to receive the consent calendar without K-18.
No, K-20.
Oh, K-20, I'm sorry.
I move that we adopt the consent calendar with item 20 pulled.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent calendar with item K-20 pulled. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries. And we will move down to discussion action, L22, scheduling of a special governance workshop meeting. You want me to talk? You want to talk?
I'm going to defer to the board president.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to spend the rest of the meeting options.
So we, and might have mentioned, I think we needed to do a governance workshop. We needed to review the governance handbook and some of the things in there with our new board members so that we can reaffirm or change, have a discussion about unity of purpose, roles and responsibilities, norms and protocols. We're going to add in a little Brown Act refresher, and then we haven't done board self-evaluation since 2009. So it's, remember we deferred that last year and said, let's skip it, and we need to get that done. So Nikki suggested that we add it to the June 22nd regular business meeting, so that we would meet starting at 4, from 4 to 7, we do the governance workshop. A meal would be provided for everybody, so that would be, that works for you. Are you here, June 22nd?
I don't think my surgery is scheduled for the 15th in Davis. So this is a week later.
Yeah.
I'll be in the hospital for 3 days. Then hopefully I'll be able to come home. I'll be there if I can, but I really need to be there, so I don't
think this is going to work.
Want everything hanging.
We only have one meeting.
No, we have 2 meetings in June. We have
Yeah, we have June 1, June 22nd.
22nd.
Oh, one meeting in July.
Are you here for the first meeting in June?
Yes. When is it?
June 1st.
Is it June 1st? Should we?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you suggest that? You originally we were talking about that as one of the options. Does that work for people better?
I could do that one.
I'm easy.
Because it's not as well.
Right.
June 1st works for me.
Okay, let's do that. Then just, I'll follow through. The June 22nd will just be a regular meeting. Then we have July 13th will be our regular July business meeting, and we're going to add the vision and goals into that meeting.
July 13th.
And then the next meeting is August 17th, and we're going to tack on a facilities workshop at that meeting.
What was the date on that one?
August 17th.
August 17th.
17th.
Would we have to change the time on that, because we've adopted it as starting at 4, so is it just, doesn't matter?
Which one are you talking
The
about?
August. So we'll just.
Well, actually, I have the facilities workshop starting at 4 on that little thing. And you said we adopted it, the original calendar starting at 4?
Oh,
I don't know, Nikki, you're the expert, whatever you'd like us to do, you can put it on the next agenda, or do you want us to do it now?
What was it? I thought, weren't we talking about, we're not talking about having a facilities meeting later in the,
This was later.
Yeah,
That was
we moved
great.
it back
Yes.
August.
okay, I thought it was September or something.
No, he said August.
Because
But
then we would know more about.
Well, then, I'd rather right now do it in August. It may have to get pushed back to September if we have more DSA issues, but I hope not. Because remember we were talking about, we didn't know exactly where we'd be, but we'd be able to move around.
Yeah.
So what we'll probably do is then bring back on the next consent agenda to change the time for this meeting to a 4 to 6 facilities meeting and a regular business meeting at 6.
Yeah, we're not sure where the meeting will be.
So what we're talking
We're not sure
about,
where
all
any of
3
those
of these meetings, having them start at 4 and having the, for instance, on the 13th, we would have the vision and goals from 4 to 7.
That's
Well,
The June 22nd meeting will actually be just a regular meeting.
starting
But
at
I'm
7.
talking about July 13th.
July 13th, we'll see. We even talked about just doing the vision and goals as a regular agenda item, but
Right.
we can split it up.
Oh, okay.
depending
I
on what we want to do.
just wanted to,
It starts at 4.
It starts at
But
4.
it starts at 4.
oh,
so-
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, it's already, you've already set it up for 4. Okay. And so what you're saying is that the meeting on the 1st of June, we're going to do the governance meeting, and it will start at 4. 4 to 7, and then a regular meeting after.
Right,
And Mickey's gonna let us know that
Yeah, we'll get
and
it.
highlight it,
yeah.
and then send us a reminder.
Yeah.
No, I put it on my calendar if I get it.
Okay, so is there any public comment on this item? Okay, so we need a motion specifically, Mickey, for the June 1st meeting, right? Okay, to move to hold the governance workshop from 4 to 7. And that's all we need to really do, because the regular meeting's already adopted at 7 o'clock.
I move that we schedule a special governance workshop meeting for June 1st between 4 and 7 p.m.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to hold a governance workshop from 4 to 7 p.m. on June 1st. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The motion carries. That's all we need to do at this time, is that correct? Okay. Now we will move to discussion, M23, Professional Development Summer Academy.
I wanted to bring back to the board, we've been talking about a professional development academy that we are going to be running in the beginning of August. One of the things as a program improvement district and the modifications and changes that we made to our LEA plan, as well as essential program components, talking about having highly qualified teachers and training them and administrators appropriately, we came up with the concept of paying teachers to come back early and participate in professional development. We sent out a survey that offered 18 different courses, asking what the interest might be in those courses so that we could better plan. And I'm happy to say that we had 97 responses in the survey, and of the 18 courses, there was enough interest in all 18 of them that we are going to continue forward in being able to offer all 18 of them. So for the next 2 weeks, we'll be lining up both providers and dates, and remember we're working with the Humboldt County Office of Education on this. I have also talked with superintendents, local superintendents, and as we start the registration process, which should be out on about May 23rd, as we start the registration process, we'll also send interests and flyers out to feeder districts to see if they're interested in participating in some of them. Some of them are very Eureka City Schools specific. We utilize Data Director, not a lot of other districts around us utilize that, as well as both our English language arts and mathematics lesson development and building. So there's some courses that they probably wouldn't be interested in, but again, we want to include as many people as we can. So like I said, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be lining up providers and dates. It is our intent to have sessions taught by consultants, local administrators, and even some local teacher teams from Eureka City Schools. We'll begin to build this. And then on the 23rd, on or about the 23rd, we will send out all the registration materials and finalize what we're doing and when we're doing it, depending on availability. In the 18 courses, the course that had the most interest or people stating that they would like to be a part of it is the Student Management, Motivation, and Involvement. That's a course that was actually suggested by the County Office of Education and a speaker by the name of Rick Morris, who is evidently nationally renowned for providing this type of training and materials to teachers. And if you actually go out on his website, has a lot of testimonials and real support on what he does. We also have a very large interest in more Teach Like a Champion for the schools that we weren't able to offer it to. But really some great things on, we had a lot of interest in practicing collaboration for results. And one of the things that, we've sent a lot of teams through professional learning communities. And one of the things about PLC is that it talks about having collaboration and specifically talking about the issues that affect student performance. So it's really nice to see that when we put something up that says practicing collaboration for results, we get a high turnout of individuals who are interested in doing that. Making ELD lessons, English language development lessons, for the first trimester was a highly sought after course. Like I said, Teach Like a Champion. Learning to use explicit direct instruction, which is a teaching model. It's an 8-step teaching model. One of the big pieces of explicit direct instruction states that the best way to make positive changes for our students are to have well-designed, well-presented lessons. And so it's great that we have a lot of interest in that. Modifying the curriculum for students with exceptional needs had a large amount. Developing expository writing and working within the ECS framework for RTI, response to intervention. So it really was across the board, and Rich came back today after meeting with the county, and it's just exciting to see that there's interest all the way across the board, and people are interested in doing it. And I think we're actually getting more people signing up for courses when we offer the registration materials than we actually had. I think people were a little apprehensive about filling out a survey. And again, just a reminder that we will be compensating our teachers at the contractually agreed upon hourly rate to bring them back. And we really feel like this is money well spent and really attacking, again, the specific things that are going to increase student achievement. So, well done.
As soon as they're set up and the dates and times and who's doing them are set up, that we receive notification of what they are.
That'll be completed before people leave for the summer vacations.
Okay, so we can put it onto our calendars, because with summer coming up, who knows what. I would like to attend, just to drop in on a few.
And I'd like to add, of the 97 responses, we also had one open-ended response where we invited people to give suggestions for other workshops. And we saw 4 or 5 more, so we're going to send up a follow-up email to all the teachers with those 4 or 5, asking what level of interest is there in those 4 or 5 topics, so that we can add them to the registration information.
Where is this going to be held?
It'll be held at a combination of County Office of Education facilities and our school district facilities. And after we begin to put the pieces together, line up the speakers, presenters, schedule the dates, get the registrations in, then we'll know more about the facilities that are needed. So I'm very grateful that we were able to contract with Humboldt County Office of Education for the services of Kathy Dickerson to do the coordination effort, because this is more than we could put on our backs.
Is it basically towards the end of August?
It is the 2 weeks, August 8 through 12 and 15 through 19.
They have the dates all set.
Yes, that's what I thought. I'm kind of concerned about the fact that we'll be moving around that time out of this building.
That'll make life interesting.
It will.
from the public on this particular item? I didn't want to come up here.
Craig, is there any plan for a measurement piece to try to gain the teachers' perceptions of how effective the courses were, how they're planning to put that in place so you can really measure in what other way possible the effectiveness?
Yeah, what we'll be doing is following the model that we used when we presented Teach Like a Champion, and we gave teachers the opportunity to give us instantaneous feedback on what they found useful. The other piece that we did in Teach Like a Champion, and it'll be a lot of what these courses do, is for teachers to write out a plan of action that they'll take immediately upon. And the good news about a lot of these courses is that's exactly what they are. It's developing EL Achieve lessons, it's developing response to intervention lessons, it's developing math lessons and language arts lessons. So there should be some real where the rubber meets the road kind of results out of this.
Okay. There's no action on this item, so we'll move to M24, update on the January 12th facilities plan.
On January 24th, we came to the board after having a facilities planning session with the Board of Education and kind of moved forward with what our plan was and where we were moving with some of our facilities. It's now May 6th, we're a couple of months after that, and heading into what looks like a very busy summer. So I wanted to be able to give an update to the board on where we are and specifically just kind of going through project by project and allowing board members to ask questions. So we'll start with the Wolford property, the building that we're sitting in. We put it out for bid and we received a bid from DK Stokes on February 16th of 2011. At this time, Dr. Stokes still has the contract in hand and is still working on the components of the contract that he would like. I think we're very close, and we just continue to move forward with that process. We're still looking at a close of escrow and the date of vacating the building on September 1. I will tell you, however, if Dr. Stokes continues to drag out the length of the contract, it also gives us the opportunity to drag out the time that we're able to be out. And you'll see in the next part that might become a very important piece. Because part of this was being able to move to the Marshall Annex. We had the initial plan developed with a rough cost estimate, and that's been done. We had the architect develop the plans for DSA, and the plans were submitted. So we had the plans submitted in early April, and DSA still has them. Maybe pull up the DSA website and look at the Eureka City School plan for the Marshall complex. It still says pending. We are hoping to get those out, and if we get those out, I just had a meeting with Charlie Bettini earlier today. If we get those stamp plans out in the next couple of weeks, we'll still be okay for our moving timeline, and which would be hopefully moving in late July, early August. But as DSA drags it out, we're kind of out there. So we are still waiting for the DSA stamp plans to come back so that we can get those out in a bid packet. But again, we're still hoping for hopefully June, July construction and then moving into the district office in July, August. We've already worked on and started to work on the plan of moving. We have movers ready to go and our tech department ready to go. The initial plan is that we would send the business department home on a Thursday night and allow tech Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to move all of the computers and all of the appropriate technology for the business department so that when they walk in Monday morning, the first half of Monday or maybe even all of Monday is spent just kind of getting their workplaces up and operational, but they'll have operational technology the entire time that they're up. Talking with Marcel, he thinks that's a real doable plan of action, and we've had conversations with his people about the potential of overtime and the need to move. Marcel again is talking about a day to move all the technology pieces from one to the other, and then a good day of troubleshooting, and then of course in technology you just leave a day for whatever may occur. But again, we'll be during the construction phase, working with Amberzini as well as our tech department and pulling all the cabling and making sure all the lines are live and ready to go. So it shouldn't be a structural problem, it should just be where we plug in and how it looks and how it works. But again, we're waiting on DSA. And as we know, working with bonds for the last couple of years, that's what you do. The Jefferson facility is the next one. We received a bid from the Westside Community Improvement District on April 6th, and the board approved that bid. We are still working with the Westside Community Improvement District on the contract. We just received their attorney's reply to our contract request, and we received that earlier this week. I have an appointment to sit down with our legal on Monday and talk through the necessary components that we feel we need to protect our interests, as well as taking out some of the interests that they believe they have at this point. This is that process, and we're going through the process. We'll be meeting with our legal and their legal late next week to try to hammer out the deal as quickly as possible and get an agreement that both sides will agree to. I will say that right now the contract that they have suggested is not one that I would recommend that we sign off on, nor would our legal. So we have some work to do. I don't think it's insurmountable, but we do have some work to do, and I think a head-to-head meeting working with legal to legal tends to get things done a whole lot quicker than anything else. Kind of in the same area, but a little bit further down the road with the Worthington facility. The Yurok tribe is still looking at a lease, and the board approved a lease with an option to purchase. They're still looking at leasing the facility. They've been in the facility a couple of times, looking at the renovation work that they need. It's very interesting to see another agency come in and start playing the same game that we play with accessibility, seismic, and fire safety. They're lucky that they don't have to have things go through DSA. They have a different agency, and their agency is a little more lenient and a little quicker, evidently, on the draw. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that any work that they are going to do there, we're going to require that it be to code, because if Eureka City Schools is to take back that facility at any time, we need to make sure that all the work that's done has been done to code. Therefore, we submit the plans to DSA prior to us being able to move into any piece of it, and DSA can sign off on code done work. Otherwise, it'd be something where we have to go back in. We are talking with the Yurok tribe about two different pieces of this. The first is that they want to lease right now just the main wing. The main wing does not have accessible restrooms. However, the T off the main wing does, and one of the things that I told them is that we would give them the keys to the adult accessible restrooms so that they can utilize those, and they wouldn't have to worry about going in and dramatically rehabbing a couple of bathrooms, except for the student ones that have to be accessible. The other piece that we're talking to them about is the potential of Eureka City Schools providing their meals or food services for the beginning. We pulled everything out of that kitchen. It was well beyond repair, and it's going to take them some time, some money, and some effort to get in there and make that a fully functional kitchen again. One of the things that we did when we moved to a central kitchen was increase our capacity for serving other agencies, and we work with the County Office of Education and others right now to provide food services. So they're looking at coming back to Eureka City Schools for some food services. Questions before I jump off those? I'm also meeting with the Yurok tribe and their legal and our legal, again, are meeting next week and having a discussion. We're really, really close to having a finalized deal. There really aren't any major issues that we have with them. The next two are kind of on hold in somewhat of a holding pattern. The board had talked about redrawing the boundary lines at Jacobs so that we would have the potential of selling off the part of the land that has the buildings on it, but keeping the fields and potentially the parking lot for Eureka City Schools and the community to continue to use. I have met with our legal as well as the city officials that are in charge of that type of thing. They don't think it's going to be that big a deal. We have to redraw the boundary lines. And right now, we just haven't entered into a contract with anybody to go out and redraw the boundary lines. We have enough going on right now, so that one just kind of got pushed aside, and we don't have a real urgency to do that. I had a conversation with the firm locally that does that, and our conversation was that we look at that in summer and potentially have them start coming out in the summer. This is one of those pieces that it's not a whole lot of work for us here at the district office, but Charlie Bettini and some of his crew need to be intimately involved in that. And we've got them working really, really hard on Marshall right now. So he's got enough going on. So that would push that back to summer. So we would look at pushing back the entire timeline. We talked about a list in the paper for sale or lease in March or May. That would be, again, if we don't redraw the boundary lines, because part of what you asked me to do is after redrawing the boundary lines to come back with an assessment of what the net property would be worth with the redrawn boundary lines, and maybe an option A or B as we move that line around a little bit. So I probably would be able to come back to the board until fall, which would push that back, and the determination as to whether to sell or lease the area would be made probably in the fall. And then lastly, the modernization of the Lincoln facility. We have completed the plans for the Lincoln School. We have completed the first stamped set of plans. However, it was necessary for us to come back and finalize plans with staff. That has been done as well. It is still out there, and it was our hope that we could get a May bid project and an acceptance of the bid. And as this process is going through and all the agencies that are necessary, again, a resubmittal to DSA, that timeline just isn't going to be able to be hit. We are now looking at the potential of a September-October bid project and acceptance of the bid, with construction probably moving back to then October or November. We have talked about the potential with all the programs that are currently over at Winship for what we are terming a soft move of them being able to plan out slowly moving pieces of it over there as it's available in the winter, December, January, February, probably utilizing a big part of spring break. Actually, they're a little more comfortable with that instead of a real rushed and quick move out the door over the summer, and especially with the potential and really being up in the air as to when we're going to be able to move the district office and moving out of this facility. We don't need both of these projects going on at the same time. It's impossible. It's not something we can do. So again, we're looking at the potential of a modified or a soft move in winter and being able to take on a majority of that on our own as other things slow down and get finished.
When were the finalized plans resubmitted to DSA?
They have not been. They probably will be next week. One of the other pieces that we're looking at, we're looking at a multi-million-dollar project in the renovation of Lincoln School, and again, the big piece of that is the accessibility of restrooms in that facility, and that's the big piece of it. And then the seismic safety, fire safety, and electrical. Really, we're going to be putting in. We have the potential of putting in an incredible amount of money in that building and really not changing a lot of the appearance of the building. It'll be mostly the structural, behind the scenes kind of stuff. One of the things that, as Charlie and I have been talking with some of the construction contracting firms in the area, they believe that we can probably save 30% on the overall cost of Lincoln School if this is winter work as opposed to summer work, because they want to hang on to their crews, and the ability to hang on to their crews, it's a lot cheaper for us. And we've seen that in the past. Projects that we've done that were winter projects we've seen, and the specific one was the media center at the high school. Because of the timeline that we were able to do that, we got lower bids. Remember, we first bid it, and it was a much higher bid, and when we went back and bid it as a winter project, it came in a lot cheaper. So that's where we are, very busy. Hank?
One question on the Worthington lease option. Is there a length of time that they will have to decide to opt for a purchase?
They have, and it'll depend on the agreement. What we're looking at is a year-to-year lease, and the option goes out 3 years. And so they need to make a decision in the 3 years as to, and that's how it currently is. I don't know if they're going to ask that to change or not. They would really like to move quicker than that, but they're a lot like we are, and they depend on federal agencies for some of their money and some of the timeline. But our initial conversation with them was a year-to-year lease that went out. In other words, it's a 3-year lease with an option to buy, but there's a clause inside the lease that either the tribe or us could opt out of it with a 30-day notice and some penalties depending on who does what when. But it would be a 3-year lease with the option to buy at that point. And with the ability that they could do it quicker if they wanted to.
Okay, any other questions? Any questions by members of the audience? Okay, we will move on to M25, governing board representatives for the secondary graduation ceremonies. So everyone should be looking at their green sheet that says revise on the upper left, which Mickey left at and then I'm going to start with Wendy. Wendy, I'm going to start with you, and we'll just go down the line and make our first choices. And Fran is unable to do any of those because of her surgery. So
my son is graduating from Zane, so I'm going to have to take Zane unless, I mean, I've done it 2 years, and I kind of go looking for housing it, but unless anybody wants to fight me for it,
And are we going to go to it, Zane, again? Good.
I would highly recommend.
John?
I'll do so.
Okay, I'm going to choose, I did Zane last year too, but I'd love to do Zane. Hank?
Eureka.
Wendy?
Do you want to do Eureka High? So I don't want to take it if you want to do it.
I'm easy.
Again, I've done Eureka High 2 years now. I don't mind doing it. I do not.
Go ahead.
What about it?
I don't care. Okay, whatever.
Wendy's doing that one.
Okay, so,
And I'll take Humboldt Bay.
and I will do adult education. And that's it. That's it. Are we good, Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any public comment on this particular agenda? Okay. That's it for tonight. We have no additional closed session, so I will adjourn the meeting at 4 minutes after 8.
Wow.
Doesn't happen very often.
You know, we're going to 30 minutes. Dr. Mason had to comment on
So if you're still going with half the battery. The only thing about this is it does break up the files into 20-minute, 30-second chunks, so I lose a frame every